felt authentic, not just historically, but actually kind of to the world of Tolkien.
All Middle-earth knows the tale of the War of the Ring. But 200 years before that,
Riders of the Mark! Brothers of Rohan!
there was an older tale.
Can you elaborate on the decision to make this anime style rather than conventional Western animation?
Yeah, it was interesting. Actually, the choice of anime came first, and then the story came quickly second. We'd actually been approached by Warner's in about 2019, and they asked us whether we might be interested, being Peter, Fran and myself, in going back to the world of Middle-earth. They kind of knew we weren't looking at doing a live-action film, and they wondered if we were interested in doing an animated film. The question then arose, what form of animation and which story would you go to? And it actually took a while. It wasn't as easy as you think. It wasn't until Sam Register from Warner Brothers, one of the execs there, he kind of tentatively broached the idea of anime, that this particular story immediately popped into my head. And I thought, I don't know, I think this could work. There was just something about the warrior culture of the Rohirrim that felt like it would fit really well with within that great Japanese filmic story tradition.
Even though they're kind of depicted like Vikings from Norse mythology
yes,
in some ways?
I have to say, all due respect, yes, you can feel those threads for sure in there, 100%. The Halls of Our Fathers, Valhalla maybe, of course. Yes, definitely. But you know what, I think culturally, definitely there are similarities. I think there's a kind of a beautiful starkness to the Norse tales. I like to say that they are completely guileless. They're like they are what they are. They're unvarnished, is a great word, And so there's something makes them grittier, more real. And I think great Japanese films work in the same way, They don't shy away from the darkness and, the flaws in human characters, and they don't sugarcoat things either. And I kind of love that.
Arise! We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Héra, daughter of Helm, I, Wolf, seek your hand in marriage.
And you also bring this new character of Héra into the story.
Yeah.
What does she bring to Middle-earth?
She's actually, can I tell you, she was named for a Viking, our Viking, Héra Hilma. And we were trying to find a name for her. We had Helm Hammerhand, and we were looking, and so Héra seemed to work really beautifully. Why her? Why this unnamed daughter? Because when you actually examine it in simple storytelling terms, she is at the heart of the story. She is what begins the conflict. These are men fighting over who she is going to marry. She doesn't have that much agency in what happens to her. And that immediately made her a kind of interesting character. And then to make the antagonist in the story, Wolf, the fact that they once may have been childhood friends, sort of gave it another nested layer of complexity to the story that you got to follow through. So yeah, it's epic, and you have these grand battles, but you also have this kind of intense personal struggle between those two characters as well, which, I don't know, it was kind of a gift, really.
Considering Héra's untold story and the fact that she's a woman, is this a comment on women not being depicted in storybooks, history books?
Not deliberately. Honestly, not deliberately. She just was one of the more interesting characters in the story, and she's also one of the survivors in the story. But also, can I say that that's not to say that, I think it's great that a woman does get to do this in this particular instance. And we did draw on some, from history, on some incredibly interesting historical female characters as well. I think maybe their time has come.
Like who?
Like Athelflaed, the daughter of Alfred the Great. Some of the there were a lot of women in medieval times, especially, I'm going to get her name wrong, Fridswida, the patron saint of Oxford, actually. She chose not to marry. You know, a guy came to her and was like, I'm going to marry you. And she was like, yeah, I don't think so. Which I thought was marvellous. And that happened time and again. You know, you find that repeated thematically within history, medieval history, that these women choosing not to marry, sometimes with really dangerous consequences. So, yeah. I don't know. It felt authentic, not just historically, but actually kind of to the world of Tolkien.